the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't missing my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues. Guess if you ain't at the table, you on the menu. And I'm that spitter, baby, they don't want you to see, but everybody's south of Capitol Hill's rocking with me. Boys smoke the trays and plan to getting their life together. I'm comfortable with my role, so I'm like, whatever. I ain't got a job, but I work hard. And you don't work hard, but you got a job. The irony is I'm judged while you feel the applause. I'm slept on, that's why I had to set this alarm. My dudes is armed, I'm armed with this arm charm. Body banging like she got that cream from Barry Bonds. Yeah.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
X-ray season is here, a real hitter with a mic, I'm everything that they fear. With that, hood ain't the same, I was all on their ass, I'm level-headed. So yo, my dudes love when I spaz, and I'm so over Seattle's passive-aggressive attitude. They don't call you back, what they really saying is F you. While I'm from the same place, I move at a different pace. I prefer if you just said it to my face, damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Average dudes with they average spit, writing average rhymes, knocking average chicks. The closer I get, I can feel the people starting to shift. I'm loyal to a fault, and everybody can't come with. Rap's a rich man's game, I'm only playing with change. They bang models and singers, I'm knocking my own flame, I'm different. The crowd, I move with the chosen few. Black thoughts, I could be the front man for the roots. No diamonds and gold, I'm on my sticks and stones. If we can see your panty line, you should have on a thong. My team is strong, through this fire we forged a bond. And they already know what it is when I get on to the hearse. Party like it's December 31st. When I'm on my deathbed, I probably cracking my nurse. You ain't got the bars to compete. I'm a verbal athlete, deflating these boys so they say that I cheat. Damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Yeah. I should probably start by apologizing for the long wait, man. You know, I know I be tripping, but I'm not just a rapper, I'm an artist. And, you know, my creative process is a little bit different than most. Nonetheless, I want to welcome everybody out to the Dre's Experience. I got TCF in the building, my whole camp's here with me. I got the band in here laying this cool-ass vibe. And I'm Seattle's own. Let's get into it.
I just wanna live. God protect me. I just wanna live. I just wanna live.
Welcome everybody to the Morning Update Show. I'm your co-host Trey Holiday. Happy Thursday to all of you out there. Starting on another serious note and another jam-packed show for you all today. Bring in my co-host, Big O.
Yeah, good morning, Trey Holiday. Broadcasting live again from Cal Anderson Park, just less than 100 feet from the historic now Western Barricade. We want to continue to keep this on your radar. We don't have the overlay this morning, but Niani Rashad, still looking for Niani Rashad. Last seen May 30th out in Kent, the city of Kent, May 30th. If you have any information on where Niani Rashad might be, ask you to contact the Kent police. If you don't feel comfortable contacting the police, man, hit me up. You know what I'm saying? You can email me, Omari, at Where We Converge. And we've got a line, a phone number. If you go to our Facebook page, the phone number is right there as well. You know what I'm saying? Let's help bring Niani home.
Absolutely. It's time for all of us to kind of wrap around this issue. Let's show them how community gets together when we have one of our own missing out there, y'all.
All right, as usual, want to welcome you to the Morning Update Show and remind you that right now is the perfect opportunity to tag and share the stream. Tag and share the stream with people who you feel would appreciate culturally relevant news and information emanating from right here in the Emerald City. Want to give a big shout out to our partners over at the South Seattle Emerald and also KBCS 91.3. You can also catch the Morning Update show on our podcast platform. And today we have a podcast that we did with Carolyn Hitt 1 year ago when Carolyn Hitt was talking about Art, Blue Cone Studio, and mutual aid. So if you go in there, she's putting the link in the comments right now. You can listen to that podcast from a year ago, Carolyn Hitt. See, we got history. A little bit about the guest today. We got a jam-packed show. That's why I'm talking super fast. Sound like an auctioneer over here, right? So we've got Forever Safe Spaces. They got an awesome event that's going in a few hours, and that's why we're getting them on first here. We've got Carolyn Hitt and Julie C. After that, it's Show Me the Money. You know, we have Sharon Nairi Williams. And when they put the middle name in here, you know you got to say it. Sharon Nairi Williams, a part of the mayor's task force, the $30 million task force. The recommendations are out, so let's see where that money is going. Woo, we got a great, you know, it's always something special when SJT is in the building. You know what I'm saying? Stephanie Johnson-Toliver, Black Heritage Society of Washington State, going to be joined by Shawn Roberts from Seattle Theater Group, STG. You know, we talked about the Elevate production that's happening June 16th, but we're going to talk about a little history and the history around the theaters here in Seattle with them. And then we're talking art as well. We got Yazzy, goes by Yazzy now. Yeah. You know, used to be Rosa back in the day. We're going to jump in the time machine because we have an actual chop artist here, and we have video of Yazzy making art in the chop because there's been a lot of stuff about chop art. So we got actual chop artists. Culpepper was supposed to be here as well, but he couldn't make it. And my good buddy Justin Carter from the Capitol Hill Seattle blog, he's going to be joining in near the end of the show because I got a hard stop because I got to go talk to Senator Maria Cantwell at 12 o'clock. It's a full day. On that note, we're going to take a quick break right now, and when we come back, we're joined by Carolyn Hitt and Julie C. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
Hey, it's Jake from Converge Media and Get the F Outside. I hope that all of you are taking advantage of the ability to be outdoors and enjoy nature as our summer months heat up. One other thing that you can take advantage of here in the King County area are free COVID-19 vaccinations. There's all kinds of options for pop-up clinics, and the vaccine is able to be administered to anyone 12 years and older. And did I mention that it's free? You don't need insurance, and they don't care what your citizenship status is. And that kind of sounds like the way things should be anyhow, but we'll save that for another conversation. Information and resources are available at kingcounty.gov/COVID, or you can call the COVID-19 call center at 206-477-3977. Washington, we are almost out of this, but we got to stay locked in for the home stretch. Let's get vaxxed out so we can max out our time with friends, family, and in the great outdoors.
Outside.
All right, welcome back to the Morning Update Show. It's not too many people who can press our timetable here at the Morning Update Show, but man, these two women right here can. I want to welcome Carolyn Hitt and Julie C. back to the Morning Update Show. How are you?
Doing very well. I want to welcome Converge back to the block. We missed y'all.
Look at that. Welcome Converge back to the block. You already know it's like Capitol Hill. It's CD or see me for the rest of my life, but Capitol Hill is for sure like my second neighborhood, second home here, us in Converge, all the love we got here. All right, so I know we're on the clock, so we'll start with you first, Carolyn. What's going on? What's happening? Well, first of all, I'll start with you. What's Forever Safe Spaces all about? And then you can tell us what's happening today.
Well, Forever Safe Spaces is an effort that really evolved out of a long history of work in Seattle around, you know, cultural space equity and creative economy equity, but blending with some of the activities that happened over this last year and a lot of the coalescing that came around that, and the role that artists and community had in really supporting one another, healing, leading mutual aid, leading a lot of the advocacy that was going on with that. I would say that's the evolution of this.
So hold on real quick. I know I said I wasn't going to say too many questions because you're on the timeline. But, you know, some of our viewers don't talk artist talk. Right. So I'm going to just put it in block talk. So Forever Safe Spaces is a place where people who are artists or aspiring artists can come together, be around other artists, and find resources to help, you know, push their art forward.
Exactly.
Okay,
And
you
we're
know,
trying to collectivize
got
too,
the
man.
translator
Collectivize the
going over here.
resources.
Exactly.
Because, a lot of our spaces, they're really vulnerable right now. So,
Right.
what we're doing today with Audacity to Ask is about pooling that and asking our community to come and support, keeping open 5 different spaces in Seattle that have been vital, Vermilion, BOC Music, Blue Cone Studios, The Study over here on the block as creative spaces, healing spaces, and also to throw down on some rent and bill subsidization for some vulnerable artists in the community that are coming off of homelessness. There's 3 different residential spots that we're helping to support as well. So it's just mutual aid in a more systemized form.
All right. Speaking of mutual aid, nobody might know it better than you, Carolyn Hitt. We're going to save it for another show because we do a whole show about the organization of mutual aid, what you did up here during the protest. But tell us exactly what's going on today, where it's happening, what people can expect. And it sounds like somebody need to break open this checkbook because how much you guys asking for? A few $1 million?
At least one.
At least one, okay.
At least one. At least one might get us 18 months of programming, operating, surviving, maybe on our way to thriving, you know what I mean? But today, I'm real excited. A year ago today, we were sitting at Vermilion at the end of the block there, and today we'll be there too. But now we've got an art show, we've got a gallery, we've got an auction. We're gonna have a whole bunch of the homies out on the block with some booths and vending and Northwest Throwbacks Northwest.
Throwbacks
My
Northwest,
goodness,
All-Star Vintage will be out
Right.
here. They're doing
She
a
got the
release.
It's a what you
It's
call
a lot.
we have
It'll
an
be a
overlay.
lot. It'll be a
Yeah,
lot of
all your-
yeah. Don't
all
let
your
us
probably-
A lot of
try.
music, a lot of
I don't know if I can.
vendors.
But-
I don't know if I can.
Here's what I
name them
wanna
all,
talk
'cause
about.
I'm still hanging the
But
show.
because you see, we getting ready to talk big money here in a minute.
Yeah.
'Cause we talking about the mayor's
First
30
of all,
million. It's the audacity to ask, and you're asking for $1 million, and this 1 million. One is great that you ask. My mom always says, "Closed mouth don't get fed," but again, where would this $1 million go?
So this $1 million is really just the beginning, and what it would cover is 18 months of basic operational expenses while we build out phase 1 of our project, which is a hyper-local crowdsourcing platform to support artists in Seattle.
ForeverSafeSpaces.org.
And pre-existing work, too. This is not a new thing. We're not reinventing the wheel. What we're doing is weaving work that's already been done. So $1 million comes down to just 5,000 community members at $11.11 per month to support keeping 5 different spaces open. That's BOC Music in the International District. That's Blue Cone up here. That's Vermilion. That's a Soul Studio down here below. And also to livable wages for 6 different cultural workers, BIPOC cultural workers. Also rent and bill stabilization for
I like
3
this, though,
different
'cause
residential
you guys-
spots.
you guys-
So it's a lot. I mean, there's a lot for $1 million.
But you want the people to fund this, is what you're saying.
Well, we can't really wait on
Right.
We
Well,
can't
no,
count on
no,
anything
no,
else.
it's good
you know
because
what I
this is a
mean?
good whatever. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and people should see that, yes, people can look to government for answers. You know what I'm saying? And people can look to the people for answers. So I really like how you're reaching out to the people. I got to cut this short right here. We're going to, somebody on the team is going to be up there, though, at 3. Well, I'll try to dip in and make an appearance if possible.
Please
But we
do.
definitely want to support what you guys are doing. And, man, really, really happy and really, 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 really proud 1 year later to see where both of you guys are at. Want to invite everybody,
Likewise, so much.
support. Forever Safe Spaces. Let's be part of the solution. Let's raise this meal ticket, man. Let's get this $1 million and let's keep our creative spaces open. Thank you for joining
Good
me
to
this
see you.
morning.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
having
so
us.
much, Al.
We'll see you later.
You
in
got to
the day.
stay in the
Oh,
seat.
shoot.
I got to go to break. You artists being your
Shouts
own
out
world.
to Converge.
We're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, Sharon Nyree Williams from the Mayor's Taskforce. You're watching the
The
Morning
story of
Update Show.
Converge Media did not start at the Seattle protests or at the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, nor 4 years ago when we very first opened our doors. The true story of Converge Media is firmly rooted in the legacy of Black media heroes of yesterday, whose shoulders that we stand upon today. Converge Media is firmly rooted in the pioneering spirit of Horace Caton Sr., who over 125 years ago launched the Seattle Republican newspaper alongside his wife, Susie Revels Caton, a trailblazer in her own right, serving as the associate editor, a groundbreaking feat for a woman and especially a Black woman at that time. We are rooted in the visionary eye of Al Smith, who documented Black beauty, culture, vibrance, and excellence through his lens. We are rooted in the benevolence of Fitzgerald Beaver, who envisioned the Facts newspaper, the very same newspaper where my father, James Salisbury Jr., was a staff photographer over 4 decades ago. We are rooted in the broad and innovative shoulders of Chris Bennett, who with his Z-Twins radio took the story of black excellence to the airwaves. We are rooted in the fearlessness of Roberta Bird Barr, who 56 years ago broke ground and shattered stereotypes as she hosted the TV show Face to Face that tackled issues of race and equity head on. We are rooted in the rhythms of Gordon Curvey, whose music Inner City brought our culture and vibes to TV screens across the Emerald City. Converge Media is also inspired by our contemporary icons. We are inspired by the commitment to storytelling from Tony B and Rainier Avenue Radio, and inspired by the passion and dedication of Marcus Harrison Green of the South Seattle Emerald. So you see, when you look at Converge Media today, and especially as we celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the Morning Update Show, just know that our story did not begin with us, nor will it end with us, as it is our duty at Converge Media to broaden our shoulders for the next generation of black media innovators, to stand firmly upon them and to tell the stories of our community to generations yet to come. Share the stream.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. I'm your co-host, Trey Holiday. And, we're excited to get into this discussion at least a little bit today with Miss Sharon Nairi. You know what? I'm just going to say I'm happy you're here. I got to say, me and Omari, we've been talking a lot about this $1 million. We want to really throw it over to you so you can kind of lay a foundation. We'll have a couple questions after.
Thank you so much, Triana, and thank you, Omari, for having me. And thank you to the Converge audience for taking the time to listen. So I run the Central District Forum for Arts and Ideas by day, and I'm also the co-chair with Stephanie Johnson-Toliver for the Historic Central Area Arts and Cultural District, and I'm an artist. And over a year ago, the mayor made a commitment to $100 million to the Black and Brown community, and I had the pleasure of working with over 26 local leaders around distributing what we would do with $30 million and what we would recommend that the city do with that recommendation. And so over the past year and a half, over the past 7 months, we've been doing research, hearing from city departments about programs that are working, what are the bottlenecks, what have they heard from the community, what has the mayor's office heard from the community, what has the city council heard from the community, and what do we need to change. So today, we are unveiling our recommendations that we have made, and so I just want to share those with you right quick. We have in business development and technology. We have things on education and around cultural education for BIPOC youth, programs for the formerly incarcerated, and Equity Education Innovation Fund. We have for housing, we are working on a lease to purchase program. We are working on generational wealth and apprenticeship pipeline programs. We are also increasing positive health outcomes with food access and environmental justice, cultural responsive and inclusive healthcare, as well as workforce development of healthcare providers of color. So those are our recommendations. Later today at 12 o'clock is going to be released to the world via press release, and you can continue to follow what the task force is up to at seattle.gov/equitable communities.
Well, that's a lot, honestly. And I remember being part of some of those discussions. You guys are talking about connecting with community. A lot of these things echo what so many people were talking about over now a year ago right here in Capitol Hill. And a lot of folks were saying this is what's going to be needed. What is the next step in this process? Like, what does this look like, and how far have you guys thought through how that money is going to actually impact community?
That's a great question. So the next step right now, we're working with the city department heads to do a breakdown of our numbers. So we had assigned numbers to every category, and what would it look like to really dive deeper into those numbers to see what it would mean to bring these things to life. So that's what we're working on now. We're also rolling out the campaign right now to say this is what we're doing, and then we'll start meeting one-on-one with our city council members to tell them about the plan as well. They know about it, but we just want to give them more information and and answer their questions. And then we'll start working on RFPs and grants and really getting more community involved in saying, okay, this is the program. How do we get this out there? And so really focusing on Black and brown.
All right, so and we can't keep you too long here today. We got a really full show. Well, first of all, then, and I just want to put this out here: do we have a commitment from you and maybe other task force members to actually sit down? Because we can't really press you today. You know, people come on this show and they get grilled on a lot of stuff.
I was ready for grilling.
Yeah. but you know, I mean, we want to continue our celebration of Blackness as well. And whatever the mayor's doing downtown ain't going to interfere with that. And I'm sure you can appreciate.
Hey, I appreciate it.
We're going to make space for all this grilling. So one, we need to bring you back on that. But two, it's like, okay, how's this process work? Because, you know, the RFP process is out there, which really means that anybody can bid on anything. And, you know, I mean, and it's good if somebody is a provider, if they can provide the best service, if they don't necessarily look like me in some of these situations, then, you know, hey, no big deal. But I think some of the things you talk about are very culturally relevant. So, I mean, in the RFP process, where it's very much open to any business that can provide on that, how does that work that money actually goes into Black service providers and then ultimately on the end goal, who you want to serve?
So coming from the city, and what they was telling us is that we have to highlight the most disenfranchised folks, right? And we know that's Black and Indigenous, correct? So now when we get into the RFP process, so we're putting ourselves and other community members on the committees to say, what questions do we ask to make sure that those people and those groups are highlighted? And then how do we get this word out? Because part of the problem too is that we don't even know that that there been an RFP process. What is an RFP process? So just making it so it's accessible.
Right, and we saw when Human Services put out their RFP for the $10 million, they got 80. They have 80 RFPs back and they're moving through it. And so that's another thing from you guys is because stuff comes out, our people be the last to know. They're like, oh, it was on the city website, everything else. So, you know, we want to hold your feet to the fire.
Yes.
You know, maybe you per se or whoever is responsible in the task force to be intentional about your communication. You know what I'm saying? Clearly, yeah, with us, but all the other Black media. But then even beyond there, there's all these groups that focus on social platforms, community organizations, and everything else. Because this is our job now.
Yes.
Now that you're talking about this money in the community, and people think that we be amped up when it just sits downtown, Converge turn it to a whole nother level when the money get ready to walk down the street.
I'm with you on that. And so, yeah, hold us to the fire. We want to be held accountable. And you're saying the exact same things we said to the mayor and to the task force. Like, even when we wanted to roll this out, they said, where you want to go? We want to go to Z-Twins. We want to go to Converge. We want to talk to Marcus at South Seattle, Emerald. We want to have those conversations. So how do we make sure that we stay out in front and we put it there? Yeah, the mayor's doing her thing. City council's going to do their thing. But we are really purposeful. We hired the anchor group, Mr. Larry Williams, to help us get that word out to our community so we make sure that we know what's happening.
We got time for one more.
Yeah,
That's
lastly,
yours,
I just want to say, you know, a lot of people have been talking a little bit in the rumblings of community about this task force. You know, there was a lot of people that were invited that declined, and I just want to get from your perspective how it was to work on the task force. You know, you said working with 26 other leaders to not ensure that this process was in the same style of gatekeeping. Just give us a little bit of that transparency and how it was that you decided to say, you know what, this is something I'm going to do, and I'm going to make sure I'm not a gatekeeper in this process.
It was tough. The first couple months, it was, why did you say Black? Why did you say BIPOC? Explain that to us. We raised our hands in our meetings and said, get the mayor back here. We need to understand what she's saying. We need to understand why the change. And then it was people being attacked on the task force, right? People that didn't even know them, they was coming after jobs. And what we ended up doing was I set aside some time for us to have our Black people get together that was on the task force, that committed to the task force. And we called it our therapy session. This is our trauma unit. What do we need from this task force? And so we did that for weeks as well to make sure we held each other up. And then we decided to stay quiet, right? While people was talking about the task force, we was like, we don't have anything to share. We're doing research. They kept asking us to share. We was like, we don't have anything to share. Now we have something to share. Now we're out here, and I decided to stay on the task force because I knew it was going to happen with or without me. And being in arts and culture, I have been complaining for years in my work to say you need to have people from arts and culture at the table because we see things a little differently. We are able to say, let's take a risk. Let's throw out the blueprint to how this has always been done, and let's propose some new stuff. And so I'm really excited about it. And I just want everybody to know it's not going to be like 30 million in the community tomorrow or a month. It's going to be, there's some programs where the money's going to come out quick, and there's other programs where it's going to have to grow because we're developing things that the city has never done before.
Yeah, right on.
All right. Well, like I said, we're going to bring you back.
That's what's up.
We got a lot of pressing to do with a lot of questions to ask, but really appreciate you taking the time up here today. And actually, it's just a pretty good day here because when we're talking about arts and culture, we have Stephanie Johnson-Toliver of Black Heritage Society of Washington State and also Shawn Roberts. There it is.
Yeah.
S for STG, will elevate. And then later on, of course, we have Yazzy.
Yes.
Chop artist.
Lots of art today.
So,
Oh, I'm saying.
Yeah.
You were on the right day.
Art is
Karen.
essential. Art is
There we
essential.
go.
It's a part of everything, right?
There we go.
You can't have this show without art.
Yeah,
There it
absolutely
is.
not.
A great artist right there, Jay Grabbrot. We're going to take a break right now. When we come back, Trey Holiday is joined by the team over there at STG. They're talking about elevating. They're talking about the history of the Moore Theater. And I promise you, after this morning's conversation, you'll never walk through the front door and look at the staircase the same way again. You're watching the morning.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't missing my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.
Converge Media returns to the Hill as the Morning Update Show broadcasts live from Cal Anderson Park beginning Monday, May 31st through Friday, June 4th. Join us as we look back at the Western Barricade and speak with protesters, residents, journalists, business owners, and those most impacted and tell their story like only Converge Media can. That's the Morning Update Show live from Capitol Hill, May 31st through June 4th, streaming across all Converge Media platforms.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show right here, bringing it back to you on the Hill. And I'm so excited. I get to dive in deep. I mean, we are arts heavy today. I get to get into some history and to the show Elevate, coming out June 16th with Miss Stephanie Johnson-Toliver of Black Heritage Society. We call her SJT around here. And Miss Shawn Roberts. Thank you guys so much for joining.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, absolutely. Shawn, I'm going to start with you a little bit because I know that, you have a history project going on, and it's also, you're connected with Seattle Theater Group. Let's hear a little bit about what you have going on there in that history project.
So Seattle Theater Group's history project researches the history of the Moore, Neptune, and Paramount theaters when they opened in 1907, 1921, and 1928, in and around those dates, but it centers around the Black experience. What was it like being a Black person, you know, going to those theaters, if you were even allowed? What was it like, you know, what was the experience out, what was the history like? So, you know, when you walk into the front doors of the Moore Theater, if you look to your left, you see the side doors that we had to go through. You see the stairs that go up into the balcony. And then you're sitting in your seat watching the show. If you look up, you'll see the second balcony. That's the only place we could sit. So not only are we telling the history of the Moore, but also what was it like as a Black person at the Neptune and the Paramount Theater?
Wow. And, you know, and SJT, I mean, this is really at the center of your work. When we talk about the history of Washington, Seattle, King County, I mean, Black Heritage Society is doing a lot of that work. How are you connected with this project with the Seattle Theater Group?
Right. Well, you know, I was really excited to get the call from Shawn and Stage to participate in the Elevate project, but also broader the history that Shawn just talked about across all three of their theaters. So from the 1900s to 1930s, where we're looking at what was the access really like for Black people, but all people of color, whether you were looking for access as an actor, performer, audience, whatever it was. We're going to help with a little bit of the correction on the narrative there. But for me, one of the highlights was when I had the opportunity and so proud to meet with the young people and the mentors of Elevate. So early on in the project, we had like a little virtual session where I shared some history to help maybe inspire and encourage, you know, some of their work. And I've been really quite surprised, and well, not so much surprised as I am proud of what they've come up with and their interpretation, particularly of the Moore. So I think everyone's going to absolutely love Elevate.
Wow. I mean, this is really, I think when we were talking earlier, just, you know, with Sharon, it's like the infusion of art can go into so many different realms. And I know when we had Elevate folks on last week with Shakia, I want to make sure I get it right. I kept saying, wanted to say Shakaya, but when we had Shakia on, and, you know, she was talking about the fact that a lot of this history is a part of some of the poems and spoken word and the pieces that they have pulled together for Elevate. What is that like, Shawn, in terms of bringing all of that into the art space?
Oh, it's phenomenal. This project is needed. It's absolutely needed. And to see the youth, and some of the youth that are involved are, I mean, they're phenomenal, talented youth from around the city, but half of them are from a program that I also direct called Ailey Camp from Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. And just to see these kids blossom and be a part of this is everything. To be on, you know, in the theaters and just exploring their art form.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, I can imagine.
It's just absolutely amazing seeing them blossom in the way that they're blossoming.
Well, you guys are making me really excited for the show. I mean, and honestly, you know, we got a little glimpse of one of the pieces that really was infusing that history that you were talking about there in terms of the experience of performers, of Black folks, of those who were non-whites, basically having a different experience. And SJT, I want to throw this to you because this is really at the center of so much of your work, is getting young people to understand this history. How has that been? As you said, you had that session with the young folks and then being able to start to understand, man, this is a part of Seattle and it was buried.
Right. And, you know, sometimes I sit in this space where I assume that people know it all, but no, they don't. And particularly, I'd say, well, if you're younger than 50 and in Seattle, there's a lot of history that you're missing. And at the Black Heritage Society, we're always happy to come out and share it and support it. And one of the things that really touched me was when I had the opportunity for an interview, not an interview, but more of a tour through the Moore Theater, and walking up that staircase, walking through that side door, that segregated entrance at the Moore Theater, up that winding step, that staircase, and to the second balcony where when you're at the second balcony at the Moore, you cannot see the audience below you, and the audience below cannot see you. So, what does that say? So that's kind of the interpretation that I'm hoping that you'll see and that you'll hear with Elevate.
You know what? I mean, this is every time. This is like peeling a little bit of an onion because there's so many different layers to producing a show like this. And what had you guys say, we need to do this at this time, Shawn?
First thing that comes to mind is what better time? It needs to be done. It should have been done a long time ago, but it needs to be done now. If we're going to put Black Lives Matter up on our marquee, then we need to go deeper. We need to, we need to be supporting the Black community. We need to be, it needs to be represented on our stages, in our audiences, and in our staff, board, everything.
Yeah.
So, we're on the hook.
Yeah,
Seattle Theater Group is on the hook.
Yeah, there it is. And I was a young thespian myself, and I understand that there was barriers because sometimes it's about the who you know piece. When you're talking about entertainment and art forms and getting into certain spaces, getting folks to understand what you could bring to those spaces. SJT, when you're talking about infusing this history, you do it in a wide variety of ways. What does it mean for you to do it in this really centric, artistic way?
I've always thought of myself as a creative person, and so I just was naturally drawn to this project, and to be able to support, particularly the young people and their interest in it. The Seattle Theater Group, Langston is always at my heart too, and my core, and so I just hope that there'll be more and more students as they see Elevate. Listen and hear and be inspired by it, that they'll want to come out and come forward and find these different avenues for, telling what they'd like to tell, saying what they'd like to say. And you have people like Shawn who are there to encourage them, and, others that they're working out of the Seattle Theater Group.
Yeah, I mean, to pair such dominant artists in terms of mentorship with these young people, and like you said, some of those young folks having some history already with Seattle Theater Group, I think is so powerful, honestly. Just earlier in the show, HCAACD was mentioned, and I know that you guys do a lot of different work, but how has it been? Because this is also an extension of that work you do there, right?
Yes. Well, absolutely love working with Sharon Williams. I mean, every time that something comes up in the community that's cultural or heritage, legacy, art related, we're trying to stay on top of that. And more than anyone, we just recently talked about the Soul Pole at 23rd and Yesler. I heard some good news yesterday. Things are moving along great with the Soul Pole. So everybody out there who's concerned about the Soul Pole, it's all good.
Good.
And, other preservation projects too. We're really drawn to that. People are drawn to us. And I think there's an expectation that, we have eyes on it. And we also have, a little money that we like to do some placemaking with around the community. So the signal boxes that you see throughout the Central District. Absolutely love Jonathan Moore on the corner of 23rd and Jefferson, and all the way around. So yes, a lot of good work at the Arts and Culture District.
Amazing. Well, Shawn, before we let you guys go, I want you to be able to tell the folks how they can be involved in Elevate when it drops, how they get connected.
So if you go to stgpresents.org/Elevate, then you can click on that link and be a part of the performance, or see the performance on June 16th. And absolutely, be part of the conversation.
Absolutely. And lastly, I mean, if folks want to get involved, this may be inspiring for some folks out there who don't know how to break into theater or how to break into performance art. Is there a way that they can get plugged in with Seattle Theater Group outside of Elevate?
Yes. Email me. Shawn R at stgpresents.org. I will get you connected. Absolutely.
There we
Absolutely.
go. There we go. You guys heard it right here from Stephanie Johnson-Toliver, Miss SJT, and Shawn Roberts. So excited to have them both on here and to dig a little deeper into what y'all can expect when Elevate drops on June 16th. Stay tuned, you guys. We're going to take a quick break, and I got to bring my guy, Big O, back on set with Miss Yazzy. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
The story of Converge Media did not start at the Seattle protests or at the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, nor 4 years ago when we very first opened our doors. The true story of Converge Media is firmly rooted in the legacy of black media heroes of yesterday whose shoulders that we stand upon today. Converge Media is firmly rooted in the pioneering spirit of Horace Caton Sr., who over 125 years ago launched the Seattle Republican newspaper alongside his wife, Susie Revels Caton, a trailblazer in her own right, serving as the associate editor, a groundbreaking feat for a woman and especially a black woman at that time. We are rooted in the visionary eye of Al Smith, who documented black beauty, culture, vibrance, and excellence through his lens. We are rooted in the benevolence of Fitzgerald Beaver, who envisioned the Facts newspaper, the very same newspaper where my father, James Salisbury Jr., was a staff photographer over 4 decades ago. We are rooted in the broad and innovative shoulders of Chris Bennett, who with his Z-Twins radio took the story of black excellence to the airwaves. We are rooted in the fearlessness of Roberta Bird Barr, who 56 years ago broke ground and shattered stereotypes as she hosted the TV show Face to Face that tackled issues of race and equity head on. We are rooted in the rhythms of Gordon Curvey, whose music Inner City brought our culture and vibes to TV screens across the Emerald City. Converge Media is also inspired by our contemporary icons. We are inspired by the commitment to storytelling from Tony B and Rainier Avenue Radio, and inspired by the passion and dedication of Marcus Harrison Green of the South Seattle Emerald. So you see, when you look at Converge Media today, and especially as we celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the Morning Update Show, just know that our story did not begin with us, nor will it end with us, as it is our duty at Converge Media to broaden our shoulders for the next generation of black media innovators, to stand firmly upon them and to tell the stories of our community to generations yet to come. Share the stream.
All right, welcome back to the Morning Update Show. Good to be back on set, and what a powerful segment right there. You know, SJT, Stephanie Johnson-Toliver, people just, if people knew, it's like Converge, a lot of Converge is guided by, by our elders, their wisdom, and especially with BHS. So a lot of stuff, we're always checking with them on things because we always want to, be up on the authenticity of the black story and journey here in Seattle. So it's great to hear what she was talking about in Shawn Roberts over there at STG.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I think you're right when you talk about the fact checkers, right? I mean, there's people that are in our elder group here throughout community that really understand so much of this history. And bringing that to this platform has been educational for so much of the audience. So it's a beautiful thing, man.
And we'll talk about it more tomorrow. But, as a lot of awards came out and some of everything else, which is good. But, I feel Converge feels as a company, and I personally feel real rewarded that the red iPhone, that was right there on the Western Barricade, it's in the hands of the Black Heritage Society of the state of Washington, and it's secured in Mohai Repository for all time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's right there. I just popped in to say bye. I got to get out early here, hanging out with the GSBA. We're talking with Maria Cantwell here at 12 o'clock about needs of small businesses. So I'm going to get out of here. But I did want to remind everybody, I know you'll play it again at the end of the show, but that tomorrow is my birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Yeah, you see that good-looking guy right there in that bit? And who knew he'd grow up to be me? So inviting everybody out. We're definitely going overtime intentionally tomorrow. Jake's been working on some surprises on set, so we're happy to see that. But I just wanted to pop in and let you know, Trey, I'm getting ready to get out of here so I can hop on this call. And then Justin Carter and the artist formerly known as Rosalina will be joining you on the set. A real deal chop artist will be here, and you guys have that discussion. But, man, before I go, I got to tell you, this has been a powerful day. This has been a powerful week.
Yeah, it really has. Honestly, shout out to the whole team, the audience coming in, all the support. It's been so much love out here, this whole week, man. It's leading up to an amazing birthday for you tomorrow, bro.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And like I said, Converge family, man, you're more than welcome out here tomorrow on set. We'll hang out a bit after set. We'll get photos and stuff like that, too. I'm gone. The show continues with Trey Holiday, with Justin Carter from Capitol Hill Seattle blog, and Yazzy. You're watching the Morning Update.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own. Tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers, and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.
Our hands are up. All right. Anybody who's from the Central District, I'm going to tell you, you talk about somebody cool as a cucumber. It's Culpepper over here from the CD. He in the middle of a war zone, and he's still doing his art. If you guys can't support this artist, there's not an artist that you can support, because anybody who can still be out here right now doing all of this with this going on, dedicated artist. What's your IG?
Culpepper 206. CULPEPPER 206.
Culpepper 206.
Cash App.
Oh, now you're doing too much. Okay, well, we got to get back to the riot, man. Talk to you soon.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. I am your co-host, Trey Holiday. And joining me in this segment, I'm so excited to catch up with Miss Yazzy with my new co-host, Justin Carter of Capitol Hill.
Do not adjust your screen.
Yeah.
Justin's pinch hitting for Omari.
You know what? Yes, I'm so glad that you're here. Miss Yazzy, yes?
Yes.
Yes. I remember interviewing you now a year ago, right? You decided, I got to come down here to the Chop and I got to showcase my art. Let's walk through a little bit of what brought you out here to be a part of this booming art, collective we saw during that time.
Yeah, so the real person who brought me out was Keek. He was like, man, everybody's doing their art out here. You need to come out here. And then I was like, okay. So there was some free space, and I just boom, boom, boom. But that was one of the biggest art pieces that I've done. So it really kicked off what I'm doing now.
Wow. Justin.
Yeah. What do you remember about what it was like when you first came here, and what did you think you were coming to, and what did you see when you were working here?
When I didn't know what to think when I was coming here. I was like, well, the news is saying it's crazy and stuff down here. But then when I came, it was a real strong community. There was gardens. People were making their own gardens. There was emergency aid. There was food, whatever you needed. So when I came down here, it was really nice. I seen all local artists doing their own thing. And so I felt really welcomed when I first came.
It's amazing. Amazing. I'm glad you were there, and it's great to be able to hear a voice of somebody who actually worked there.
Yeah,
and
I
was
mean,
in the middle of it all.
Yeah, come on, absolutely. I mean, you're such a young artist, right? I mean, you're talking about that was one of your first, biggest pieces that you've done, and it kind of launched what you're doing now. Tell us a little bit about how you went from, we knew you as Miss Rosie now to Miss Yazzy. How did that transition work for you?
Yeah, so when you guys first see me, I was Rosa or Rosalina. But since then, I've converted into Yazzy, which comes from my middle name, Yasmin. And I just wanted to separate my personal life from my artist life. So, like, if you see me vending or something, I'm Yazzy, and that's just me out there talking to the public and stuff. But when I'm at home, Rosalina and just chilling in my bed or something. But when I tap into my art, that's like when I really feel like I'm Yazzy and I'm just being free and doing my own thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So tell us a little bit about what your work is like now. What kinds of art are you making now? And I'm also kind of curious to know, what parts of your experience here at 11th and Pine and around Chop kind of continue in your work? What parts do you bring with you?
Yeah, so now I'm continuing to do more murals and bigger pieces. And continuing, I think I would say, I'm not afraid to do art in front of other people. Like, at Chop, I was nervous. There was people walking around. People were like, can I take a picture of you? Can we interview you? And actually, the Converge interview was my first interview ever. So, yeah, that time definitely gave me the confidence.
We should throw to that. Should we look back and see what those days look like?
I know.
We got the video. We didn't throw to it. You want to go to it?
Yeah. Do we have the video of our first interview with Yaz? I don't know if they can hear me or not, but yeah. Thank you.
We'll take a little time trip back.
Well, welcome back to the Morning Update Show. I'm your host, Trey Holiday, and with me is an amazing young artist. I'm so thrilled because, honestly, the artwork that is thriving and showing itself right here in the Chop is phenomenal. Hey, Rosa, thank you for joining me, girl.
Hello.
Yes. I want, you to tell the audience what you're doing down there and why it matters to you to be doing it in the Chop.
I'm painting on the open wood that's there, and I think it's important because not a lot of people see positive art around now because people are so angry and they don't know what to do. So I wanted to bring something positive, and yeah.
What we'll do is we'll wrap with Yazzy and then. Oh, okay, there it is. Okay, thank you. Look, Alia was over here. That's just live show, y'all, right here in the Chop, the old previous Chop. But right there, you were already describing a little bit of your experience, and I want to ask you because as we understood then, this explosion of artists coming out, were you able to make connections and build relationships with some of those artists, and maybe how that's been for you now a year later?
Yeah. So. When I first came to Chop, I seen a lot of artists, and first I was just observing. I didn't really make connections and stuff like that. But then when I started getting into more art programs like urban artworks and things like that, I had artist teachers, and those artist teachers turned out to be the people that I met first at Chop. So those connections stay with me.
Wow, great.
Cool. Well, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you now, what you're working on next, what's coming up?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Yazzy_artwork, YAZZY. And upcoming, I have a new mural that's about 8 feet tall.
Cool.
In Westlake Union, and it's a partnership with Urban Artworks and Mad Art. So that should be coming up about the end of the month. It will be finished.
So amazing. You've done really great and really grown as an artist. Before we let you go today, I want you to be able to inspire the young artists like yourselves out there that, maybe they don't know how to start or how to get involved with amazing murals like you're doing. What is some words of advice that you would give to young artists that are looking to really break into their artistry?
I would just say social media is your best friend. Follow all the art platforms you can, because there's a lot of opportunities in Seattle, and people are always looking for young artists to get them started off. So yeah, Instagram, they're always doing call for artists. And yeah, I would
Yeah,
say that.
see, look at those call for artists, y'all, and put your name in the hat as Miss Yazzy has done. Thank you so much for joining us on the Morning Update Show today. We appreciate you bringing your brilliance to the table and really, for you to shake off the nerves and bring your art right here to the Chop. Obviously, you've grown since then, so it's a great success story.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. You guys heard it right here from Yazzy herself about how to see yourself as a part of the solution. We're going to take a quick break right now. Stay tuned. You're watching the Morning Update Show. Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. I'm your co-host, Trey Holiday. And boy, oh boy, have we had an amazing packed show today with all of these amazing guests. And you guys know I got a sub in here for Big O, Mr. Justin Carter.
Little
What's up,
J,
Justin?
what's going on?
Little J and Big O. Okay, I got you. You got a new nickname now.
Yeah.
Right on. I mean, honestly, diving in today, hearing so much about art. I mean, this was really art-centric. And I know you right here at Capitol Hill Seattle Blog, you guys experienced all that amazing art too. How has it been for you just to hear people and their updates today?
Well, I always like to hear the voices of the people who were there making things happen, who saw these things, hear just simple descriptions like colors, what they see, what they smell, what they hear. And those are the kinds of things that are like big part of my job and what I want to record. So getting to hear the voice and sit right next to someone who was part of that kind of history, that's an amazing opportunity. And it's so cool that she's still making stuff here in the city and we has a great future in front of her.
Yeah, the thing that I've heard from so many artists that were right here that worked on the mural or worked on other open spaces up there is that, man, the connections they made during this time. It's like building an art family, and really so many artists kind of work in almost isolation, and so them coming out was like an opportunity for them to explore, those deeper connections. And it's just been great to really hear all around. I mean, I think a lot of the art here launched several different more artist careers.
Sure, and they're just getting started. And you always have to have someone to come in and fill in for you sometimes, be part of your team, pinch hit maybe if you've got to go talk to a senator on the internet, whatever O's got going on. So yeah, finding your community, and if one of the things that comes out of CHOP and comes out of last summer is that's a big gain for Seattle, a big gain for the city.
Absolutely, and I think it almost deserves more of a spotlight because oftentimes we kind of talk about CHOP in these overarching ways, but to get down into some of those nuances, I think is a whole nother thing. In terms of how people experience the relationship building. And I'm always going to that because I remember so much. I mean, we talk about the mutual aid efforts, when we had the first segment here talking about so much of that and how it was infused in now to Forever Safe Spaces and their art. So honestly, I think all around, Justin, you're absolutely right. I think that there's ways to explore some of that.
Cool. Yeah, lots of energy and stuff in the past, but there's also some good stuff coming up soon. In fact, tomorrow.
Absolutely. Yes. You guys, thank you so much for watching the Morning Update Show today. Last quick note, once again, if you are in the Kent area or beyond and you have any information about Niani Rashad, Omari said you can email him right here at omari@whereweconverge.com. And, we got to celebrate the Big O. Tomorrow is his birthday.
Wait, it's his birthday? Did he? Have we mentioned it? It's Omar's birthday.
Yeah. Big deal tomorrow. So for all of you who want to be celebrating with us, please come down. We've had people here throughout the week coming down to support. We encourage you to do the same. Tomorrow's going to be a great show.
Yeah, it should be a good party. I cannot wait to be here.
Absolutely. And once again, you guys, as always, I'm encouraging you guys to see yourself as a part of the solution. Everybody that we've been bringing on this week has done just that. Justin Carter's a part of that. And I want you guys to be encouraged. Whatever it is you love to do, your interest that's deep down inside that makes you say, you know what, I can bring that to the table. That's something that I can share with people. Find a way to do so, because I promise you there's so many solutions rooted in that. So thanks again for joining us today. And until tomorrow at 11 a.m., peace.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Lift every voice and sing till earth in heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day.